my name is Messina. I took the yoga meditation class at Montana State University, and today I thought I'd just kind of talk a little bit about my experience and what I'm taking away from the class. So first I kind of wanted to go over the 5 different types of meditation that we did. The first one is like a traditional meditation. It's like sitting upright and just kind of sitting with yourself and letting all of the thoughts that you have kind of just float away, and trying to sit there and have as little thoughts as you can, basically, and just be in the moment. I found it to be pretty challenging, honestly, at first, especially because I don't really like to sit, especially not like crisscross applesauce or, legs crossed or anything. So that was a little difficult for me. Over time, though, I did find myself finding it a little bit easier, I think. So it wasn't the worst, and I actually came to kind of like it because it became easier, and I just kind of sat there, and I didn't really have to be like making the thoughts go away. They just didn't show up. So that was really fun. We also tried the bumblebee breath, which is kind of just all of us at once were humming over top of each other. So it was like not like everybody doing the same breaths, which made it, I think, a little bit easier. And not like as awkward. So it'd just be every exhale humming as loud as you can. I thought it was kind of nice. I still do think that I got like a little bit self-conscious because I could hear my own voice pretty loud, and I wondered if everybody else was the same volume and things like that. Just kind of being in my head about it when I'd rather probably just sit there and be quiet. But we did that a couple times, and I think I did start to like it a little bit towards the end, but it's still not quite my favorite, I'd say. Then also we did box breathing. That one, it does kind of calm me down, I would say. If you're not familiar with that, it's a box of like, it starts at the top and it'd be like inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And then, whichever way you want your box to go. Same, box breathing. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of that. I think it works for like a minute for me, and then I forget to count, I forget to keep doing it, or I just can't find myself being able to relax when I'm too focused on my breath. It was nice at the beginning, though, when I still was struggling with trying to like get rid of all my thoughts and stuff, so that did help to have the counting. But when I got to a point where I didn't have to worry about that too much anymore, it just became kind of irrelevant. Also, there was yoga nidra, which is kind of just when you're laying down, and usually we would do some movement before that, which I really like. I love having a little bit of movement and then getting into the meditation. But laying down and then getting to a point of like nearly being asleep, and this was my favorite, 100%. I feel like I really, really got into an actual meditative state, and it was very different than like taking a nap for me. I do like to take naps, but I felt like coming to this class was like a whole different thing of just a different mindset, and I would come out much more calm and collected of a person. At first, I did fall asleep a couple times, and then towards the end, I would sit there for the whole, 50 minutes, and I would not sleep, and I also wouldn't be thinking about anything. I would be in an actual meditative state, which has been really hard for me to achieve. As far as anything else, I think there's been some other breathwork things that we do. I would say, there's one specific thing that we do a lot, usually, especially when we get into, starting the yoga nidra and things like that, or the traditional as well. It would be just make every exhale longer than your inhale. Our teacher would kind of repeat that a couple times, and I did find that pretty helpful, because I feel like focusing on the breath at first and then getting into the rest of it did make me kind of focus my attention. And yeah, that one was really good too. As far as just an overall picture, I feel like I learned a lot about myself as being a lot more calm than I thought. I feel like I've always been somebody who has all these thoughts all the time, but with this, it really made me realize that I'm not like that all the time, and I actually am the kind of person that likes to sit down and just not think for a while. So that was cool to learn. And also, I never used to be a person who would meditate, and now I find myself wanting to sometimes, and I do kind of take a couple minutes to collect myself. And I think in the future I will be continuing to do some of these different techniques that we've learned, just because I really felt like I had a whole different clarity for the rest of the day whenever I would go to this class. So yeah, I think that's about it. Honestly, it was a really great experience, and I would recommend, and I really feel like I learned a lot about myself and about meditation. So yeah.